You know, I probably have to change this shirt. I've worn this 3 times in a row for several videos so far. So it's that time of the month, ladies and gentlemen, where we get to our monthly speculation as to what's going to happen in Galaxy of Heroes based off the login reward. And I was going to save this video and do it tomorrow morning like a normal person, but on the forums just now, we basically got a big teaser as to what's coming to Galaxy of Heroes. There's a huge post. I was actually just complaining about this on the Grand Arena live stream the other day, talking about every single complaint that the developers kind of briefly touched upon in this game, even them acknowledging that there's a lack of capital ship content, and they basically already teased that we're going to get a new capital ship with the upcoming Geonosis territory battle, and I have some ideas as to what that might be. So in case you don't know, the login award for the month of June 2019 is going to be the Umbaran Starfighter. My game's going to reset in about 7 minutes here, and those login awards are going to show up quite soon. And before even seeing this post that we're going to go over here in a second, I already had a pretty big assumption that we're probably going to be seeing ship content, because ship content is one of the most lacking things in the game. They're capital ships. They even said it themselves. They've only launched one capital ship since the launch of the ship content. That is extremely low. 2.5 years of ships content, and we've only gotten one new capital ship. Wow. That's lacking content. Luckily, ships isn't the main focus of Galaxy of Heroes, but if it was, this game would have died a long time ago. Luckily, the characters are the main focus, but ships should be brought into focus a bit more, and it seems like with this post, that's going to be kind of their intention moving forward. So what we're going to do is read over this post, kind of highlight some key points, dive a little bit deeper, kind of maybe explore what the next ship might be that they're releasing for the capital ship that's going to be Clone Wars related. I have a lot of thoughts, and I think they kind of tease a little bit what the next capital ship will be. I'm looking maybe a little too deeply, but it makes sense. So I'm not going to read everything word by word, but this first part kind of just goes over how long ships has been in the game. It's been in the game for 2.5 years. I remember way back when things were all hunky-dory, we were invited over to Capital Games, December 2016, I believe, and I saw ships before it was released publicly, and it was cool. It was a cool concept at first, but it was a model that quickly died out, and it wasn't being supported enough, so it's been a long time. Ships has been in this game. That's basically what this first thing is talking about, and they're talking about how ships is such a prominent aspect of Star Wars, seeing cool things like the Star Destroyer crossing the screen, or a dogfight between X-Wings and TIE Fighters. That's why ships was added, because it's kind of a big part of Star Wars. We see a lot of scenes in Star Wars where it's all related to ship battles. This just kind of goes over the history of how ships has developed over time and how target lock synergies were created. And then they introduce picture-in-picture where you kind of get that Star Fox type of thing where you see the picture of the character inside the ships getting their genuine reaction when they're conducting battles and whatnot. Ships 2.0 that came out last year. Here they're just listing how many new ships they come. I mean, these are kind of softball questions just to kind of get to lay down the premise and the foundation of where ships is right now. And then they kind of start leading off into the good stuff as to, with all this said, the summary I gave you in 2 seconds, we've got a lot of opportunities for more ship content in the next couple of years. So hopefully this means that, hey, we're going to switch gears a bit more, give more love to ships. I know you listed off stuff that I can count with my 2 hands, but you guys released probably 3 times the amount of characters last year, if I have to just give a rough estimate, probably. So speaking of the future, can you tell us a little bit of what we can expect? And the biggest thing we need right now is additional capital ships. I said that exactly on the live stream. We can't just keep having Akbar versus Akbar top tier and everything else is like second, third tier and below. So here we go. The big part right here. With the upcoming Geonosis territory battle, we're going to release a new capital ship. I wish we could show more benevolence and tell you exactly what's coming, but negotiations are underway about when we will share the news. Okay, so here's I'm gonna just go on a limb right here. They sometimes throw fancy words out there that don't explicitly confirm things, but kind of lead you to kind of guessing what's coming. Benevolence is a very fancy word. Wow, great speculation here. The thing that sounds very close to Malevolence is the Malevolence, Grievous's capital ship, and that makes 100% sense because Grievous had one of the most prominent capital ships in the Clone Wars era. Yes, and there's another idea that I have, which we'll get to in a moment, but especially with there was that little teasers about manless ships in the Q&A post having Vulture droids and Grievous's Malevolence. It would make a lot of sense. The one problem that might throw all this off is the Malevolence was a pretty darn big ship, and maybe they can't fit it on the screen because it was a huge capital ship that Grievous piloted, and I would think maybe instead of bringing the Malevolence in, they'd bring the Invisible Hand. which is Grievous's other capital ship that we saw in episode 3, whereas the Malevolence was seen in the Clone Wars TV show. So this is more of a traditional separatist ship that we have right here. So that might be ideally what's being brought in, but I just thought it was kind of cute. Benevolence kind of rhymes with Malevolence, so there might be some indication that this might be the ship that's coming in. Even if it's not what they're alluding to, it's definitely well possible that Grievous, whether or not he gets the Malevolence or the Invisible Hand, that's probably very high in the priority list as a Clone Wars capital ship, especially needed for the territory battles for Geonosis. Newt Gunray makes a lot of sense. He had his own capital ship as well. It was a bit different of a design for a capital ship, not your traditional capital ship like we saw of General Grievous just a few moments ago. So Newt Gunray makes a lot of sense as well if they're going to release the capital ship from the Clone Wars era. And then there's some other ones. I know Kenobi had his own capital ship. I don't quite remember. I don't think Dooku had his own capital ship. Anakin had a capital ship, but he pilots a ship already in this game. I don't think they'd have a character do a ship and a capital ship. They've only said capital ship in a singular form. So if I had to guess, the ship that's going to be coming soon, seeing that the Galactic Republic already has their respective capital ship, which probably would be required for the light side Geonosis territory battle, and with dark side Geonosis territory battle coming first, and we saw from the images that there looks like there's going to be a ship aspect, they're probably going to release a separatist capital ship if that's the only one, and it's going to probably be the first one if they are planning on doing multiple ones. So I'm thinking it's got to be Newt Gunray or General Grievous, and it seems like General Grievous is slowly becoming more important over the years. I would think that he's going to get a ship, whether it's the Malevolence or the Invisible Hand. That's where my money is right now, but keep your eyes open in case Newt Gunray might be needed, because he has some other options as well. What a tough question. What do you think is the best ship and fleet at the moment? Hold on, let me help you out there, son. I wonder what the best fleet in the game is right now. I honestly don't have any idea. Might, I don't know, maybe Home One with that 96%, or maybe this team right here, 61% of the meta. Oh, man. I don't know how they answered that question. Okay, I'm just playing a little bit right now. But they're aware that everyone is running this team. They even confirmed Houndstooth and Hans Millennium Falcon is the best fleet right now. They're even using it themselves. And they're currently aware of how clearly dominant these two are together. And we've been actively working on what the future of ships looks like, where Hans Millennium Falcon is not the only strategy. Yes, I said this in the stream. You can't be in Grand Arena. Both people put their Hans Millennium Falcon on defense with the best team in the game, and then they're like, oh crap, now we got to try to use the rest of these garbage or second tier ships and try to take out the very best meta dominant fleet in the game right now. So that we intended these two to be strong, and they've had their time to shine. Now we're working towards adding additional competitive fleets in the game. Yes, look at that diversity in fleet arena. I know we don't have that policy in squad arena, but we need at least 3 meta dominant diverse fleets in the game. You can't just have one. I think 2 is not enough. It has to be at least 3, and to do that you need more capital ships, and you need more ships that respectively fit those capital ships, so that way we have more fleets that we can diverge to. That's good to hear. In terms of shaking up the meta, are you trying to bring a sense of rock, paper, scissors? So here we go. We just kind of got excited a little bit that they're trying to break up Hans Millennium Falcon and Houndstooth, but we don't want to lead to another meta where it's just the same one thing that overcame Hans Millennium Falcon and the Houndstooth. So how we diversify ships, how to bring new and interesting gameplay mechanics to players, and how we carve out unique identities for ships, much like characters, is something that is always on our minds. I think the real goal is to try to create a vibrant meta that has multiple brands of power, and there are enough interesting strategic decisions to bring into Grand Arena. Yes. Right now the question is, do you bring the hammer to Hans Millennium Falcon, or do you leave it on the bench? We want to bring the kind of strategic depth to fleet combat that a Spade Admiral could appreciate. Wow, that is definitely a vague answer. Beats around the bush. I don't quite know if that really answers much, except that they want to try to give you some more choices than just Hans Millennium Falcon, I suppose. And here we go, satellite radio, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I want to see right here. I mean, they've heard many times that we want some sort of ship raid, and obviously the biggest ship raid in Star Wars is the Death Star raid. So they have to introduce some sort of Death Star raid, and they ask the question, how likely is it that we're going to see a raid that includes ships or entirely a ship raid? CG Top had said this in the dev Q&A, but we're absolutely exploring a raid with ship content. Heck yeah, ladies and gentlemen, smash like if you want a Death Star raid. We've talked about doing raids that include ships, as well as raids that are fully dedicated to ships. We try to tell dynamic stories with our raids, and that's pretty easy to do with characters. So it's just in the idea stage, basically, and it's not going to be seen for quite some time on the holo table. So in the meantime, there are capital ships, Grand Arena Championships, and a new territory battle. I think this post is actually quite well timed because, man, ship content it doesn't evolve nearly as much as characters, and especially this is important because moving on to Grand Arena Championships, ships is definitely probably the least liked aspects of Grand Arena right now, which is kind of why I see this trend where when there are ships tied to Grand Arena, it seems like they always offer less than ideal rewards. They don't give Zetas and stuff like that. I think that's got some truth to it. I have to actually go back and review the data, but I remember the past few ones that have ships, they've been just tying Omega Mats. The one that was just purely characters, it goes back to like all Zetas all the time. Regardless of that, with what I just said there is fact, they got to bring some more capital ships into the game, and we're just lacking. I mean, we have Home 1, Endurance, and Executrix that have been the game since day one, and only one new capital ship added in 2.5 years. That is severely low. So hopefully soon we're going to see that new capital ship added, and I'm thinking it's probably going to be General Grievous. If you haven't done so already, guys, I know General Grievous had a bumpy start this year because he was released during the worst meta of all time against Jedi Knight Revan, but he's been progressively becoming more important in this game. He was pretty much critical for the Padme Amidala event. He creates maybe not top tier team, but he's right below that top tier status. So he creates a very good Grand Arena team. And I'm thinking he's probably going to be important for ships. Probably expect Vulture droids and stuff like that to come to Galaxy Bears and other Separatist squads, because right now we just got Genosian bugs in here, and I'm guessing we're probably going to get a couple more Separatist little Twinkets. That's not even a word added to the Separatist crew here. But anyways, that's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think down below of the responses the developers gave. What do you think is going to be that capital ship that they said is coming? Let's talk about down below, guys. If you like the video, go ahead, smash that like button, comment down below, and subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, guys.
Yeah. Party Richter. Get down. Party Richter. Son of a bitch. Party Richter. Get down.